How about you, Deputy? Is that gun just for show? Or do you get to shoot people once in a while? Thanks for the beer.
The late great Gene Hackman is remembered as one of Hollywood's most versatile and commanding actors, known for unforgettable performances in classics like The French Connection, Unforgiven, Hoosiers, and even his iconic turn as Lex Luthor in Superman. For decades, he was the actor audiences could always rely on, whether he was playing a tough cop, a conflicted coach, or a grizzled outlaw. Yet behind the acclaim and awards, Hackman's career ended abruptly and without the fanfare you'd expect from such a legendary figure. After his final role in the 2004 comedy Welcome to Mooseport, Hackman walked away from acting completely, shocking fans who thought he still had more stories to tell on screen. What made this sudden departure more surprising was the deeply personal reason behind it.
And the Oscar goes to Gene Hackman in Unforgiven.
A career of relentless excellence. Gene Hackman's career spanned more than 4 decades, cementing him as one of the most celebrated actors in cinema history. Born in 1930, Hackman rose from humble beginnings to become a powerhouse performer. His early days in New York theater shaped his craft, and soon he transitioned into film roles that made critics take notice. By the late 1960s, his work in films like Bonnie and Clyde earned him acclaim and his first Oscar nomination, setting the tone for the kind of gritty, authentic characters he would bring to life again and again. The 1971 crime thriller French Connection propelled Hackman into superstardom. Playing Detective Popeye Doyle, Hackman brought a raw intensity to the role that resonated with audiences and critics alike. His performance earned him the Academy Award for Best Actor, a turning point that would forever tie his name to Hollywood greatness. Over the next several decades, he displayed remarkable versatility, effortlessly switching between genres and embodying a wide range of characters. In Superman, Hackman surprised audiences by portraying Lex Luthor with humor, wit, and menace, proving that even in larger-than-life comic book roles, he could command the screen. Later, his performance as Coach Norman Doyle in Hoosiers showcased his ability to bring heart and humanity to a sports drama, turning the film into a timeless underdog story. In 1992, Hackman again stood at the peak of his profession when he won his second Oscar, this time for Best Supporting Actor, playing ruthless Sheriff Little Bill Daggett in Clint Eastwood's Unforgiven. Despite these triumphs, Hackman was never a celebrity who sought out attention or thrived in the Hollywood spotlight. He valued privacy, preferring the quiet life outside of the industry's relentless pace. This detachment from the trappings of fame gave his career an unusual arc. Even while working at the highest levels of the industry, he always seemed ready to step away on his own terms.
I'm not sick or old, and you're not half the man I am.
The stress test that changed everything. By the early 2000s, Hackman's career was still going strong, but his personal life began to take precedence. In 2004, he appeared in Welcome to Mooseport, a political comedy co-starring Ray Romano. The film, however, was poorly received by critics and bombed at the box office. While the movie itself did not singularly end Hackman's career, it would be remembered as the final entry in his illustrious filmography. Shortly after its release, an unexpected health scare forced Hackman to confront the possibility that his acting days might be over. In 2009, Hackman revealed in an interview with Empire magazine what truly pushed him to retire. He explained that during a stress test in New York, doctors warned him about his heart. Quote, "The straw that broke the camel's back was actually a stress test I took in New York," he said. "The doctor advised me my heart wasn't in the kind of shape that I should be putting it under any stress." For a man who had built his career on roles requiring intense physicality, long shooting schedules, and emotional strain, this warning became a decisive moment. Hackman acknowledged the profession he loved was not just mentally taxing, but physically demanding. Years of playing tough, hard-driving characters had taken a toll. He was in his 70s at the time of the stress test, and the idea of continuing under those conditions carried risks he was unwilling to accept. Unlike many actors who keep pushing despite personal health challenges, Hackman took the advice seriously and made the decision to walk away from Hollywood. The announcement came quietly. Hackman never held a dramatic press conference or farewell event. Instead, in a 2008 interview with Reuters, he simply stated, "I haven't held a press conference to announce retirement, but yes, I'm not going to act any longer." He added, quote, "I've been told not to say that over the past few years in case some real wonderful part comes up, but I really don't want to do it any longer." For fans, it was a shockingly subdued end for one of cinema's greatest stars. Life away from the spotlight. After his retirement, Hackman retreated to Santa Fe, New Mexico, where he lived with his wife, Betsy Arakawa. The couple built a quiet, creative life together, far removed from the chaos of Hollywood. Hackman found new ways to channel his creativity, embracing hobbies and passions that allowed him to express himself without the demands of acting. He became an avid painter, often working in his home studio on landscapes and portraits, finding solace in the slower rhythm of art compared to film. In addition to painting, Hackman also turned to writing. He co-authored several novels with Daniel Lenihan, a close friend and undersea archaeologist, exploring historical fiction themes that fascinated him. He also penned 2 solo novels, showing that storytelling had always been in his blood, even if it no longer took place on the big screen. Writing allowed him to remain intellectually engaged and productive without the strain of long film shoots. Hackman occasionally gave interviews during this period, offering glimpses into his post-Hollywood life. In a 2011 conversation with GQ, he even joked about acting again, but only under very specific conditions. Quote, "In my own house maybe, without them disturbing anything and just 1 or 2 people," he said. Despite living quietly, Hackman continued to contribute in subtle ways to the arts. He lent his voice to narrating documentaries, including The Unknown Flag Raiser of Iwo Jima in 2016 and We the Marines in 2017. These projects showed he was still willing to engage with storytelling, but only in a way that respected his health and personal boundaries.
He was a tough nut, Gene Hackman, but he was really good.
Tributes and legacy. When the news of Gene Hackman's death broke in February 2025, tributes poured in from across the entertainment world. Directors, actors, and fans alike remembered him not just for the roles he played, but for the authenticity he brought to every performance. Francis Ford Coppola, who directed Hackman in The Conversation, called him a great actor, inspiring and magnificent in his work and complexity. Actors who had looked up to Hackman also expressed their grief. Josh Brolin, sharing his thoughts on social media, wrote, "I am crushed by the sudden deaths of Gene Hackman and his wife, Betsy Arakawa, and their dog. Crushed. He was always one of my favorites. Not many who beat to their own drums like he did. Rest in peace."
It's a funny concept. I love the idea that this powerful man, just leaving the office, decides as a favor to be the mayor of this town. Mm-hmm. And of course, Ray Romano, who is owns a hardware store and is a local plumber also, doing work in the president's new house, he decides he wants to be the mayor. So it's this wonderful kind of conflict between these two guys.
The final curtain call. Hackman's last on-screen role in Welcome to Mooseport may have not been the critical triumph fans hoped for, but in many ways it reflected his pragmatic approach to Hollywood. The film's failure was not what ended his career, but it marked the natural stopping point before he took control of his life's direction. After decades of intensity, acclaim, and public attention, Hackman chose to prioritize his health, his family, and his creative pursuits away from the camera. The decision to leave Hollywood at the height of his capabilities was emblematic of his character. He was not someone who lingered for attention or took roles to remain relevant. Instead, he had the courage to accept that his time in the industry had run its course. When doctors warned him about his heart, Hackman saw the warning not as an obstacle, but as an opportunity to live fully on his own terms. For 2 decades after his retirement, Hackman enjoyed the peace of Santa Fe, quietly pursuing the things he loved most. His life was a reminder that Hollywood glory is fleeting, but personal fulfillment can last a lifetime. Though audiences may have wished for more films, Hackman left behind a body of work that remains timeless and will continue to inspire future generations. Now it's time to hear from you. Do you think Gene Hackman made the right decision to walk away from Hollywood when he did? Or do you wish he had given us just a few more performances? Let us know your thoughts in the comments section below.